Let's see if audio's working. Audio's working. Cool. Let's try this. Is the quality good? Oh yeah, I should probably be in the voice chat. How do I do that? Hello? Oh no, I can't hear anything. Gosh darn it.
It bothers me so much that workshops is the only thing that isn't capitalized. So I'm just gonna change it like right now. Okay. It doesn't look coherent.
Don't worry about it. Oh, I can hear myself twice. That's weird.
Yeah, cause my OBS is recording the audio as well. You can like mute the YouTube video. Wait, should I include the audio from like Discord? I don't know. Like,
I
what
think
if
it's okay not to.
not to? Okay. I don't know. Like, if people like start asking questions and then like.
I mean, you can do the thing where you just like repeat the question
Okay.
and then like answer it.
Okay. Actually, I'm not too sure how to separate the Discord audio from the rest of the audio.
Oh, that's
Because it's like capturing just like computer audio in general.
Mm.
Wait, so you can't just only record from your mic?
I can do that, but if we have any games that have sound, okay, I can just disable it since we're not doing anything with sound right now.
I kind of want to separate them so it's like we know like what invite is from where. So like one of them is for like the website, one of them is from like emails, one of them is from like other Discord servers.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's kind of just random and I don't know how it's organized, if it even is organized.
Mm. Um. Actually, I don't. I think I have to record computer audio because if Diane, you're speaking, it won't pick up unless I do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, all the workshop attendees will be picked up, if that's okay.
You can just say to mute unless you have a question.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's like Zoom.
Zoom.
They're gonna be recorded, yeah?
Yeah, there's
Hopefully, it's being recorded.
a YouTube stream that we should post.
Oh shoot, what happened? My internet's getting really bad. Oh no.
Are you on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, my home doesn't have Ethernet.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Confusion?
My home doesn't have Ethernet either. Is that normal?
I mean, like, you should have a router somewhere that you can connect to.
I mean, I have a router downstairs, but my like dad is working downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
When should we start?
Um, are people just not gonna come?
We probably could just start and have people look at it later.
Yeah, like, I guess we just start like 4:15 or something and then go on from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's at least a 20-second delay.
Like on the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's okay, question mark?
I mean, in the recording, it'll be fine, but like for people that are like attending, it's gonna be like lagging.
Okay. Um, I mean, given that this is probably gonna be a recording workshop, it should be fine.
Okay.
It's just we get to talk to the void, I guess.
Yes. Okay, I guess we should begin.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, hi everyone. Welcome to the Intro to Game Programming workshop. Uh, I'm Kevin,
I'm Diane.
and we're gonna be learning about how we can make games with programming.
You
Okay.
can make games without programming?
Well, you can also do that. Okay. Welcome. Okay, so I don't know why I added this slide in. Uh, oh, it's still not showing up.
You might be behind a little. Like you can fast forward it to 00.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if that's better. Oh, it's more like 5 seconds. Okay.
I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm. So I want to ask everyone here, what sort of level of experience do you have with programming? So like programming in general or programming with games? Uh, yeah.
I only know RenPy, and I have no programming experience, so I suck with RenPy anyways.
Well,
Don't
that's
worry about
yeah. Don't worry about it. That's fine. That's fine. Um, yeah. So we're gonna be learning a lot about like fundamental programming concepts. So it's fine if you don't have too much experience with programming. And if you already know RenPy syntax, you're kind of ahead already. So it's a good place to be in right now. I kind of wish we had more attendees, but that's okay. Things are weird right now, coronavirus.
just stay alive.
Yeah.
Y'all can watch this later
Hmm.
and have fun watching this in the future.
Okay, so let's go over a brief outline of what we're going to learn. This isn't an exhaustive list of everything we're going to learn, but hopefully, we'll be able to go through most of these concepts. So first, we're gonna learn just RenPy. So, like how RenPy is used to make visual novel games. Then we're gonna learn about general programming concepts and how you can apply them to game development. For example, variables. You can use that for user choices. We're gonna talk about if statements, loops, lists and sets, and then functions.
Yeah, and we will be taking feedback on this course, so if you decide like, hey, this is going a bit too slow, this is going a bit too fast, just tell us um, in the Discord, like message us. If you ever come to the stream, you can just ask us any questions. And we are planning to show off different tools other than RenPy. We're just starting with RenPy because it's one of the simpler ways to start with game dev.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's jump into RenPy. So, what is RenPy? So, RenPy is a visual novel maker, and a visual novel is basically an interactive fiction game where most of the gameplay is reading dialogue and making dialogue choices. I'll show a few examples of some popular visual novels later. And RenPy is open source, so you can look at the code to see how it works. And it's also free to use, which is why we're going to download it and learn from it. And the reason it's called RenPy is because the scripting language it uses is a variant of Python. So it's like its own special flavor of Python. Okay, here we go. So here are some visual novels that some people have played. I think the most popular or the most well-known one is Doki Doki Literature Club. I personally haven't played it, but I've watched gameplay of it on YouTube. I'm too much of a scaredy cat to play this. And then on the right, there's Fault Milestone 2. And I think this game has some pretty good graphics for a visual novel game. On the bottom left is Star-Crossed, I believe, right?
Hmm.
Yes, very popular game. made by one of our, well, made by a few of our club members. And then in the bottom right is Lucid 9, which is free on Steam if you want to download that. Well, also, well, yeah.
I think one of the things that I mean, it kind of shows like how much you can do with RenPy is a lot of people don't think Doki Doki is RenPy
Mm-hmm.
until like you look it up, because you can do a lot of stuff with the programming in that game.
Yeah. I like how they sort of glitch out the game and like hack the game, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and RenPy does a lot of the heavy lifting of visual novels for you. So if you want to do like the cool effects, you can focus on that stuff after you do the visual novel stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first we're gonna need to install RenPy since we're gonna be working with it. The link to download RenPy, I'll put it in the live chat, I guess. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay. And then when you install it, you just have to double click on it to extract it, and then you open up the folder, and then you click on renpy.exe to open it up. Next, we're going to need a code editor. So I recommend Visual Studio Code because it has a lot of useful extensions, and it's pretty lightweight, meaning the file size is pretty small. But I mean, if you install too many extensions, it does slow down. But you don't have to worry about that. Just know that it's a really powerful code editor, and it's really customizable. That's why I recommend installing it. I'll put this link in the live chat as well. Alrighty. Okay, so now we're going to look into the example project that's built into RenPy. And it's a pretty good example project because it showcases some of the basic functionality that RenPy has. For example, how to create characters and how to make them speak, and how to choose different menu choices so you can have branching dialogue. So we're going to go and look into that project. So first you want to open up RenPy. And then in the projects sidebar, you want to click the question. So this is what the example project is called. And then you just click launch project to open it. And let's just do a quick game, play that as loud. Okay. So just some quick, a quick look at how it works. So you can show character images. You have menu choices, and each menu choice leads to different dialogue. Let me scroll back up. You can have a character associated with a piece of dialogue. And you can have all these like visual transitions like fade to black and background changes. Yes, lots of unrealistic dialogue. Yeah, okay. So you can play this example project for yourself. I mean, I kind of just rushed through it to give you a brief overview of the kind of things you'll see. So I guess we can actually start looking into the code of this game. I don't know if that was too fast. Hopefully not.
I mean, the content of the sample project isn't really the focus. It's more about like looking at the code and seeing how it corresponds to what you see
Yeah.
on the screen.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we don't really care about what Sylvie and the characters are doing. So, but it's cool to see like what you can do with RenPy. Okay. So we're gonna look into the question, the code of the question, and the way we're gonna do that is with the question selected in the project sidebar, we click script.rpy. And if this is your first time opening a script in RenPy, I think it's going to ask you which code editor you want to open it in. I think you can select System Editor, and then what you can do is you go into the game directory. So you click the game button under Open Directory, and then you just right click in the empty area of the folder and click Open with Code. And that'll do the same thing. It'll open the code for you to see. All right. So there's a lot of code here. Can be kind of overwhelming, but we're going to go through this step by step. And you'll see that it's not too difficult to understand. The first thing we're going to talk about is labels. Okay, so the start label over here, let me zoom in. Zoom in even more. The start label here, it says label start. This is where your game starts. Oh, they have a nice comment that says the game starts here. And the code that's under label start is the code that's going to be run when you click the start button in the main menu of your game. So let me show you that. So here I have the question open, and you see we have a start button in the main menu. So when we click this button, the code underneath this label start is going to run. Okay, let me close that. The next thing we're going to talk about is the say statement. So the say statement is used to show text in the dialog box. So you can use this for character dialogue. You can use this for narrator dialogue. Any kind of text that you want to show in the text box, you use a say statement. And most of your code is going to be say statements because it's a visual novel. It's very dialogue heavy. So here we see some say statements in the beginning, like it's only when I hear the sounds of shuffling feet and supplies being put away that I realize the lecture's over. So that's a say statement. And we'll have a bit more practice later on where we type our own say statements. We're just kind of looking over the code right now. Yep, so That's a say statement. And what's important about a say statement is it pauses the screen until you press the spacebar or click the mouse button. So it doesn't continue until to the next line until you interact with the screen. Yeah. Next is a say statement, but it's associated with a character. So a lot of the time, you want dialogue associated with a character. And the way you do that is you first have to define a character using this sort of syntax. You don't have to worry too much about what it all means. You just have to follow this format, and we're gonna have a bit of practice creating our own characters. So here we're creating a character called Sylvie, and we're assigning it a color. It's like a mint green, and this color is applied to the name tag for the dialogue. And then when you want to attach a piece of dialogue to a character, you just have to add their what do you call this? An alias. You just attach their alias or nickname in front of it.
I will say that you don't have to just put like the letter S or anything. Sometimes it's better for your writers if you just put the name there.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's easier for your writers to just write like Sylvie and then like the line of dialogue, and then they can copy paste it all in. Um, but that's the thing with programming is you can just name things whatever you want inside your code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the example project uses these really short aliases because it just makes it easier to type. Like you're gonna be typing this alias over and over again, so it's good to keep it short, but you don't have to. Yeah, if it's useful for your writers, you can write out the whole name. Let me show you some examples. So here we have Sylvie saying, "Hi there, how was class?" And so we put the S in front of our say statement, and that's how we get that green name tag saying Sylvie in front of the text. And then we have M for me, and then me says good.
So why don't you show them like if you change the name, then it'll show up in the game too.
Oh yeah, I can do that. So here's where we defined our characters, and let's just change Sylvie's name for now. Tom. Okay. So we renamed Sylvie Tom, and now when we launch the project, so you can see it doesn't say Sylvie anymore, it says Tom. Let me wait for it to catch up. There we go. And that's because we changed the character name here, but it still has an alias of S. So
I mean, you could go through the entire thing and do find and replace.
yeah,
and
you could.
replace all the S's.
Yeah, you could do that.
But
it's not necessary, yeah, but it is gonna cause some confusion.
one other thing is, just because you have a character, like you have a character of a certain name, and you change it, it won't change it in the dialogue, because the dialogue like has the name written out already.
Oh yeah, yeah. So for example, yeah, here it says I've known Sylvie since we were kids, so that's gonna stay Sylvie because it's kind of ingrained in the text. Okay, let me just disable the music here. Okay. Oh, so that was the say statement. Next, we're going to talk about how we can change images. So, we have the scene statement, and the scene statement is used to show or change the background image. And the syntax is like this: you write scene, and then the name of the image file that you want to use. And this image file, it has to be in the images folder, and it has to start with a BG, I believe.
You don't necessarily have to. The way it works is RenPy takes like the prefix BG,
Mm-hmm.
and if you show a different image with the BG um, thingy, then it'll replace it.
Mm.
So it's like if you look at the left side where it has like all the image file names. So if you do like scene BG uni or show BG metal or show BG lecture hall, those will replace each other. But
Mm-hmm.
if you show like Sylvie, like one of the Sylvie sprites with the background, it won't replace it.
Okay. Okay. So it works
So
similarly to the character images then, where it
yeah,
has an image tag. Okay.
like basically the prefixes is a way to make it so you don't have to like do like a hide and then show the next image every time.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do one show statement and
Yeah.
then have that change.
Yeah. I like how RenPy automatically replaces um images. Uh. Okay.
One thing to notice is like you have the scene statement, but you also have the show statement.
Mm-hmm.
And what the scene statement does is like it basically wipes the entire screen and then it just puts that image.
Okay. I
So
see.
that's why they do show Sylvie afterwards, because if they did scene Sylvie, then they would wipe the entire image, make like a blank background, like white or black. I don't know what they do. And then they would just have the character on an empty background.
So is it
Um,
possible to do something like scene Sylvie? Would that?
yeah, you could do that, and then you can see the results. Is um,
Okay.
like you can literally write that in right now, and I believe you can do like Control R or Shift R to like reload the script, and then you can
Oh,
see the
gotta go back to the main menu. Okay, cool.
yeah. So it just shows the character with nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you should pretty much always have a background, or else you get this like transparent texture that tells you like, hey, you don't have a background.
I see. Yeah, let's change that back. Oh yeah, and the naming scheme. Um, like the name of the image that you put after in the scene statement has to match the file name exactly. Though you don't have to put the file extension, just the part before the extension.
Yeah, and also of note is that it only looks in the images folder.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever images you want to use, you have to put them in there.
Yep. And yeah, good reminder is you have to name these correctly. Because like the first word in your file name is going to be used by RenPy to like detect when you want to replace an image. We'll talk more about them in the show statement. So, a show statement is used to show or change an image. And the first part of the file name is called the image tag. So RenPy only shows one image for each image tag. So if you do, let's say, show Sylvie green smile, and then later you do show Sylvie blue giggle, what it's going to do is it's going to replace the Sylvie green smile with the Sylvie blue giggle. And that's because it sees that you already have an image with the Sylvie image tag, and it's going to replace it. And then the hide statement simply hides an image. And for hide, you only have to use the image tag. You don't have to put the full file name. So that's what I meant by naming your files correctly, because the first word of your image file is going to be the image tag that RenPy uses. Okay. This is, we're going into some more programmery related stuff. A jump statement is used to jump to the code at a specified label. So this is good for if you're creating branching dialogue, or if you want your dialogue to loop back to a previous time for some reason. I don't know, maybe you're making a time travel game. It's just a good way to like jump around your code. And we can show that real quickly. Let me find a jump. We're gonna teach you menus later. Let me see if I can find just a normal jump in here. Here we go. So here, after I say, you know, you can never disappoint me, Sylvie, it says jump Mary. So that means it's gonna jump to a label called Mary. So let's see if we can find that. So here we go. We have a label called Mary. So what it's gonna do is when RenPy encounters jump Mary, it's gonna transfer the code, or it's gonna jump. I don't know how to explain. It's gonna jump to the code here, and it's gonna start running the dialogue under the Mary label. Okay. Okay, and the menu statement gives the player a choice between multiple options. So you saw how earlier we could choose if we could ask her right away or we could ask her later. So that was a menu. And then for each choice, you can add some code underneath it. In this example over here, when we choose to ask her right away, it jumps to the label right away. But if we choose to ask her later, it jumps to the code called later. Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Diane?
One of the things to note is you don't necessarily have to jump immediately. It just runs the code like indented to the bottom of it. Oh, and one thing to note is that indents matter in Python. They don't necessarily matter in other languages, but in Python specifically, they are very particular about you have to push tab after you have a statement with a colon. So like you see with the menu, you like go to the next line and then you push tab, and then everything inside the menu has to be indented, and then the choices also have to be indented afterwards.
Yep.
Which is kind of annoying at first, but you get used to it. Also, Visual Studio Code will indent stuff for you.
Yeah, it's really nice. I kind of like Python for that reason, because in other languages, instead of indenting, you have to use braces, and it kind of looks kind of messy. But like in Python, you just indent, and Yeah, and that tells, in this case, for example, the menu, when you indent, it tells RenPy, hey, these are the options that I want to show, or this is like the text that I want to show when I give the menu. Yeah, so indentation is very important in RenPy and Python. So make sure you indent correctly, and RenPy is going to tell you if you indented improperly. I can show you real quick. It shows some scary error, but let me just do some random indentation at the beginning to scare it. I wonder if this will cause some problems. Yep, okay. So here we randomly indented this scene statement, and now RenPy is complaining, saying, hey, this line is indented, but preceding play music statement does not expect a line break. I was like, what? So make sure your indentation is correct, and you have to make sure your indentation is consistent. So you can't use like four spaces in one place and 5 spaces in another place. It's gonna get confused. So make sure that your indentation is consistent. Okay, that should fix it. And we can go through that later. Okay. How much time do we have? We have 10 minutes. Okay. So what we can do is we can have a quick Q&A if anyone has any questions, and if no one has questions, we can do like a short practice exercise, I guess. So anyone have questions?
Not really. I kind of know like this much ish. I think it's more technical stuff that I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do.
Okay. Yeah, we'll start doing more technical stuff in the next workshop. Yeah. Okay. If there aren't any more questions, we can try an example or a practice project. Let me close this. This. Okay. And oh no, it's lagging. Okay, we're gonna create a new project for practice. So we just click the button that says create new project. Continue. And let's just name the project the sandwich. 1280 by 720. I think that's good. So let's choose 1280 by 720 for the resolution. Continue. And then you can choose any sort of color scheme. This doesn't affect the programming. It just affects how it looks. And I think, yeah, like you can change these colors later. So it doesn't matter too much. I'll just stick with the blue. And then you just wait for RenPy to create a new project. Ooh, that was fast. So now in the sidebar, you'll see the sandwich show up. So with that selected, let's open up the script. So we click Game, right click, Open with Code. Okay. And we click on script.rpy. This is where our game is, or where our like dialogue is. And close that. And you can see RenPy already put some filler content in here, just so you can see that it's working. Let's actually see it working. So back in the RenPy launcher, let's just click Launch Project. Click Start. And you can see we have Eileen saying stuff. You've created a new RenPy game. And that's it. So let's just practice a bit of RenPy. Okay, let's delete everything. And we're going to start with the basics. So the first thing we learned was label start. And label start is where your game starts. So we type label start colon. You always need the colon. Like I keep on forgetting the colon, and then RenPy kind of gets mad at me. So remember the colon, and then all the lines below it are indented. And also for Python, you can have any number of empty lines between your code. Yeah, so you can choose to have like a line of dialogue and then a space between it and then another piece of dialogue. Yeah. And that's mainly for readability purposes. You don't have to add these additional like empty lines. They're just there for readability. Okay, so I just put some say statements here. I put one that said hi, and another one that said hello. And to make these say statements, you just put the text you want in between double quotes, and then each line of dialogue is on a separate line. I don't think you're allowed to put this. Like, you can't put two pieces of dialogue on the same line. It's gonna complain. Ooh. Yeah, it thought hi was a character. Okay. So yeah, make sure your lines of dialogue are on separate lines. Okay. Let's try it again. There we go. Hi. Hello. And my thing keeps on not broadcasting. Okay. And this usually use this for like narrator stuff. So like if you want like a character's internal thoughts, or like a narrator is saying something about the general situation in the story, you can use say statements that don't have a character attached to them. But let's say we want a character saying something. So, oh yeah, the project doesn't have any images with it. Oh, that's fine. So we're gonna create a new character, and we do that above label start. I don't think you have to, but it's good practice to define all your characters at the top of the script. So let's define Eileen, I think. We can define a different character. Let's define Sylvie. So we do define S equals character, open close parentheses, and inside the parentheses we put double quotes, and then the name tag that we want to show up. So Samantha. I'm just doing this as I go. And then let's say Samantha says hi. Let's define another character. Define me equals character me. And then me says hello. I'll just wait a bit so people can catch up. Okay. And then let's see. Samantha, hi. Me, hello. Oh, I should talk about auto reload. That's important. So when you're creating your when you're creating your game, you don't want to like constantly open and close your game to see the changes. So in RenPy, you can enable auto reload, and what that does is whenever you save your script, RenPy is going to reload the game with the new code. So that's a really easy way to see your changes instantly. And the way you do that is Shift R. So in your game, you just click Shift R, and oh, I disabled it. So when you click Shift R, it's going to say Auto Reload at the top of the window, and that's how you know it's now detecting the changes in your script and auto reloading. Hey. Yep. That's some basic dialogue here. We don't have any images in our game, but we can work with images next time. So I don't know. Yeah, we have like 1 minute left. So are there any other questions?
Mm.
Oh,
If you can't get an artist to work with, you can find like royalty-free art to use as placeholders for stuff. If you just want to focus on like writing, like the writing and the programming aspect of it.
mm-hmm.
So I would say don't feel too discouraged if you don't have that on your side.
Yeah. Like me personally, I can't draw that well. So, but you can still like if you're a good writer, or maybe you're just learning to write, like you can use this just to write the dialogue, and then maybe if a artist comes along and wants to join your project, or if you want to use some free assets online, you can do that. So it's not like you have to do the art and the writing at the same time. Okay then. I guess that about wraps it up. I'll put the link to the slides in the live chat and also the description uh, of the video so you can view it later. And yeah, let me copy this real quick. Hopefully that shows up correctly. And if you have any questions, you can either comment below or you can join our Discord and just talk to us at any time.
I mean, I
And
feel like if they're watching this, they might already be on the Discord.
maybe, yeah, like
But
we only posted the link on the Discord, huh?
in the case that somebody stumbles on it and they somehow aren't, um, we can post the invite.
Yeah, let me do that. How do I get that? You know what? There we go. Let's copy that. There we go. And yeah, so that's it for today. Next time we're going to learn about variables and yeah. I don't know what else to say. Thank you for watching. This is first live stream on YouTube for the quarter. Hopefully we have less hiccups next time. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye. In stream.